After weeks of immense speculation, Barcelona have beaten eternal rivals Real Madrid to the signing of World Cup and Ballon d'Or winner Rodri.
Look, it looks like Barcelona now is set to approach Man City over the signing of Rodri ahead of Real Madrid. Real have already been in talks with Man City for about the last week over sort of a proposed move for Rodri, about £50 million.
After winning everything he could possibly win in football, the Manchester City midfielder is set to join Hansi Flick's side in a bid to help Barcelona break their over a decade-long Champions League drought.
2024 Ballon d'Or French football winner is Rodri.
Judging from his record, it is obvious why not just Barcelona but almost everyone would want him. What does his footballing profile suggest he is set to bring to the team, and what does that of his manager suggest that this is going to work out? This is why Barcelona signed Rodri.
My job? Yeah. Not an easy job, that's for sure.
He does difficult things with simplicity. Like Busquets, he has that intuition that allows him to be well positioned to know where a move is going, so he's there to take the ball. This is quite obvious. Rodri, for the longest of time, intensified during his time playing under former Manchester City and Barcelona manager Pep Guardiola, has long been touted as the next Sergio Busquets. Busquets was one of the best players in that legendary 2009-2012 Barcelona team, which was managed by Pep Guardiola, that devastated world football for a time. He was a midfield anchor, the engine, the tempo-dictating deep-lying midfielder featuring alongside the legendary Xavi and Iniesta. Like Busquets, Rodri had a tall, slender build. They stereotypically neither look like the type of midfielders who could cover every blade of grass across the midfield, nor the types blessed with the kind of body strength that can outmuscle any player they do. The department where these types of players are most valuable are cerebral. Their intelligence and ability to read the game is second to none. You watch the game, you don't see Busquets. You watch Busquets, you see the whole game. After being released by Atletico Madrid as a teenager in 2013 due to a perceived lack of physical power, Villarreal offered him the perfect environment to weaponize his mind. When he arrived at Villarreal's youth setup, he was tall but remarkably slender, lacking the muscle to bully opponents. This physical limitation forced an immediate, crucial adaptation. Because he could not rely on strength to win individual duels, he had to survive entirely on mental speed, body orientation, and spatial scanning. Villarreal's academy coaches emphasized cognitive development over raw athleticism. The Yellow Submarine were very big on possession and positioning. He resided in a student's residence studying business at the time. There, Rodri learned to scan the pitch constantly before receiving the ball, mapping out passing lanes and pressure zones so he could move the ball with a maximum of 2 touches. In 2008, I was watching Marcos Senna and Xavi Hernandez, Andres Iniesta and Santi Cazorla. They were the ones that imposed that winning style on the team, a style which evolved and won Spain the World Cup and another Euros. I watched Busquets especially closely. He and others laid down a model of playing I knew I had to follow. Every great midfielder learns from a master, and at Villarreal, Rodri's blueprint was club captain Bruno Soriano. His immense similarities with Soriano quickly earned him the nickname Little Soriano. Soriano was the quintessential La Liga midfielder, unflashy, highly intelligent, and positionally flawless. Rodri spent years studying Soriano's movement, eventually filling in for him when Soriano suffered a long-term injury. From Soriano, Rodri learned the art of the shadow. This is the ability to defend, not by tackling, but by casting a shadow over the opponent's passing lanes. Rodri mastered the skill of positioning himself exactly halfway between the ball carrier and the target, effectively cutting off the supply line without ever having to leave his feet. Under managers Fran Escribá and later Javier Calleja, Villarreal played a highly disciplined narrow 4-4-2 system. This setup required the two midfielders to possess immense rhythm between each other. Rodri was tasked with acting as the team's heartbeat and pendulum. It was here that he learned his ability to dictate the game's tempo. He mastered the art of deliberately slowing down the game to draw opponents out of position before accelerating the play with a vertical pass. Also, even when Villarreal was attacking, Rodri was instructed to never look at the ball. Instead, he was trained to look at the opposition strikers, anticipating where the ball would drop if his team lost possession. When I was a kid, I was more interested in understanding football than enjoying it. I was interested in how it worked. I watched a lot of games, my family was sick of it, and I could judge if a player was thinking. I tried to add that to my game. I could see that if I understood the game, I would have an advantage, especially at a young age when few players have that conceptual understanding. By the 2017-18 season, Rodri yielded staggering statistical results. He finished the season with the most ball recoveries in all of La Liga, 320, beating out even more aggressive physical midfielders. He also achieved a passing accuracy of over 89%, showcasing that his recoveries were immediately turned into clean, constructive possession. Only Ivan Rakitic managed more passes in Spain by 25 passes. Busquets was fourth, 198 passes behind him.
Despedir como se merece a un club como el Villarreal.
Rodri's Villarreal development was mostly mentally based. His next adventure will focus on a completely different aspect.
My job, not an easy job, that's for sure.
In the summer of 2018, Atletico Madrid bought Rodri back for 20 million plus add-ons. It's going to help me. It's going to complete me as a player. Rodri performed so well at Atletico Madrid that in one game, manager Diego Simeone was whistled for taking him off, something that had never happened before. The man who played the second most passes in the league in 2017-18 became the man who completed more tackles than anyone else in 2018-19. He was explicitly brought in to replace the legendary club captain Gabi. For Rodri, the tactical freedom and visual elegance of Villarreal were replaced by a rigid, hyper-demanding defensive regime. Simeone's famous low block 4-4-2 demanded that his midfielders run quite a lot in every single match, constantly shifting side to side to suffocate space. There was no time for the slow-tempo dictating he was used to at Villarreal. To survive at Atletico, Rodri underwent a massive physical and stylistic transformation. Under Simeone, Rodri was forced to refine his tackling techniques. He learned how to use his long legs to snatch the ball away from opponents in high-stakes 50-50 ground duels. Standing at 6'3", Rodri had rarely used his height as a weapon at Villarreal. Atletico Madrid's deep defensive structure meant defending a relentless barrage of crosses. Rodri was charged with utilizing his height and body positioning to leap into aerial duels and win. Rodri also mastered the art of technical fouling. In a system built on denying counterattacks, he learned exactly when and how to disrupt an opponent's transition, often escaping the yellow card through clever timing and positioning. Tactically, Rodri was paired in a double pivot alongside Thomas Partey or Saúl Ñíguez. This setup required him to be the defensive anchor while Partey acted as the more dynamic box-to-box progressor. While Thomas drove forward, Rodri was tasked with covering the massive gaps left behind. This period taught Rodri how to defend in isolation. At Villarreal, he always had a compact structure around him. At Atletico, he frequently found himself protecting the backline against counterattacks. It forced him to become entirely self-sufficient in defensive transitions. In his one season as part of the Atletico first team, only two outfield players, Antoine Griezmann and Saúl Ñíguez, played more minutes than Rodri. Only captain Koke had more touches and no Atletico player completed more passes. By the end of that season, the change in Rodri's game was obvious. He didn't lose his technicality, still completing over 91% of his passes, but his defensive output had a significant increase. Pep Guardiola noticed this rapid evolution. City didn't just want a passer, they needed someone who could understand the brutal physical transitions of English football. Simeone's grueling one-year masterclass was exactly what transformed Rodri from a brilliant Spanish prospect into a 70 million euros world-class powerhouse.
My job, not an easy job, that's for sure.
Unlike the compact, low-tempo spaces of La Liga, English football was frantic, physical, and wide open. Without the explosive recovery speed of Fernandinho, Rodri was frequently left exposed when City's high press failed. This period forced him to accelerate his decision-making.
You feel the pressure? You feel it? It's normal. But you have to play, guys. We have to play. Just commit them, pass. Pass. Pass, 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 pass. That rhythm. You control the situation.
Guardiola did not try to make Rodri faster. He made him smarter. He meticulously refined Rodri's body shaping and orientation. He taught Rodri how to receive the ball under intense pressure, turning away from oncoming pressers. In Guardiola's possession-heavy system, the pivot dictates the structural positioning of the team while they're attacking. Rodri became a master at moving with the ball's chain, squeezing the pitch so tightly from behind that opposition counterattacks were strangled at birth.
In all the players that has in their lines, and my job basically is not to lose the central position, because the central position mostly in the area, is where they score most of the goals. So you have to force the teams to play outside and to gain time to make the people come back. And this is my role. That's why I'm coming back in this area.
By his third season, Rodri became one of City's indispensable players. He regularly registered over 100 passes per game, with a completion rate eclipsing 92%, entirely dictating the tempo of matches. In a system where opponents routinely deploy ultra-deep defensive blocks, the holding midfielder is often left unmarked at the edge of the penalty box. Guardiola weaponized this space, transforming Rodri into a dangerous offensive threat. Rodri developed a lethal side-foot shooting technique from distance. He became City's clutch scorer, arriving late at the top of the box to smash home era-defining goals, most famously the match winner against Inter Milan in the 2023 Champions League final. By the 2023-24 season, he combined his defensive duties with an unprecedented 12 goals and 15 assists across all competitions, providing his immense value on both sides of the ball. He capped off a brilliant 2024 with the Ballon d'Or.
2024 Ballon d'Or French football winner is Rodri.
Manchester City education turned Rodri into an entirely self-sufficient footballing entity. He had everything. His tactical completeness was fully realized on the global stage when he captained Spain to the 2026 World Cup trophy, earning the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player. At the tournament, he shattered historical records by completing more passes than any player in World Cup history with a 93% success rate, leading the tournaments in touches, tackles, and passes into the final third.
My job, not an easy job, that's for sure.
Unlike the lone pivot system Rodri commands for Manchester City and Spain, Hansi Flick predominantly employs a 4-2-3-1 structure featuring a double pivot. Rodri would occupy the deeper foundational role within this duo. Paired with a dynamic progressor like Pedri, Frenkie de Jong, or Gavi, Rodri could act as defensive insurance. While his partner drives forward or joins the press, Rodri can act as the structural anchor, allowing Barcelona's creative midfield to flood the final third without leaving the team exposed to counterattacks. Rodri's ability to make defense-splitting, line-breaking passes into the half spaces perfectly accelerates Flick's game, connecting the backline to explosive players like Lamine Yamal and Anthony Gordon in fewer touches. Flick's tactical symbol at Barcelona is an uncompromising, high defensive line and aggressive offside trap designed to compress the pitch. The higher risk strategy famously yields immense benefits but leaves quite a lot of space behind the midfield if the initial counter-press fails. Rodri's spatial scanning abilities allows him to anticipate loose balls and break up transitions before they threaten the centre-back. Rodri brings the aerial dominance and dual-winning capabilities he forged under Diego Simeone into Flick's already intensely physical style. The Barcelona manager system naturally pushes the opponents deep into their own territory, creating a crowded penalty area. Rodri's highly developed clutch shooting from distance, perfected during his later years in Manchester, makes him an immediate goal threat in these scenarios. Rodri walks into a Barcelona squad where he already knows a few of their players. They celebrated a World Cup together a few weeks ago. At age 30, with virtually every trophy competed for under his belt, he is the perfect man to take Barcelona to the next level. He is a different kind of midfielder to the ones the club already has, and has quite a bit of everything they already have blended together in one completely refined mix. He offers a bit more stability in the midfield, and his professionalism is top-notch. Just like he is on the pitch, he doesn't have a flashy personality. Also, he doesn't have the social media accounts.
Yeah, but you cannot share on your Instagram stories because you don't have Instagram.
It's been 11 years since Barcelona won the Champions League. They've gone through a lot of hurdles to try and climb back to the mountaintop. The signing of Rodri might be the real game changer.